What are your memories of Natalee like?
I don't really have that many memories. I mean, I knew her for one night. I feel horrible that I even went out that night without my father knowing. I should have just stayed home and this wouldn't have happened to me. It would have happened to another person. I just tried to look at it that I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, maybe even with the wrong people. And I just hope that the truth comes out, that there's comes some clarity in this case.
But do you understand, I mean, how can a girl just disappear?
I don't know. I think that's the million-dollar question now.
So if you could do it over again, what would you do now?
I would have just stayed home that night and wouldn't have even gone out. It was Natalee who asked me to go out with her. It was her that asked me to come to the club. It was her that was yelling at me to go dance with her, and I said, and I went to go drink something with my friends.
Are you that irresistible? I mean, is that what?
No, I don't know. That's absolutely not what it's about. I don't know. When her parents showed up at my door with her picture, I didn't even know who Natalee Holloway was. I didn't even know her name.
Well, how could you not know her name if you just saw her the night before?
Well, I saw her the night before, but it's not like I had a conversation with her for 3 hours. I mean, we barely talked. She told me a couple things about herself, where she was going to school, where she was from.
How attractive did you think she was?
I thought she was attractive.
What kind of feelings did you have for her?
I didn't have any feelings for her because I didn't know her at all. The feelings I had for her were because she was attractive.
So you were hot for her, you mean?
I wouldn't say that. I just thought she was attractive. I thought she was very outgoing, and then she came to me. She was the one that talked to me. She asked for me to dance with her, which I didn't even do, and she wanted to come with us, and it was probably a bad choice. We probably should have told her she had to get out of the car when her friend told her to get out of the car, and then you never know what would have happened.
How drunk was she?
She had a lot of drink. At Caution Charlie, she grabbed my hand and took me with her for me to take jelly shots off her. And afterwards, she asked me to buy a shot for her, buy her something to drink. Earlier, when I was with her friends at the Excelsior Casino at the Holiday Inn, the whole group was already drinking from 5 in the afternoon, and I didn't really see her at that moment. I didn't even really notice her at that moment. But I guess they came here to have a good time, to celebrate, and did their graduation also, and they might have also all gone a little too far. She grabbed my hand and took me with her and asked me if I wanted to take jelly shots off her. And
how does it work? I don't understand.
And she climbed on the bar. She laid down on the bar, and she called the bartender by name, and he got a jelly shot for her, and then I took a jelly shot off her.
I don't understand. Is it on her belly? Is it on
her belly? Yes.
On her belly button?
Yes.
And then what do you do?
And then you basically lick it off.
It's all her.
I'm not saying it's all her. I liked her. I thought she was very attractive, and I went out with her. How
do you leave a girl on the beach?
Very irresponsible. I know, and that's the one thing I would like to take back. But at the time, it just didn't seem wrong.
And then what happened? You just said, "Oh, I've got to go home and study. I've got to go home because I got to get up for class tomorrow."
I told her I had to go home. I had school the next day, and I thought maybe she'd understand. She told me no, she wanted me to stay there with her because the next day she was leaving, and she wanted to stay there the whole night. I told her no, I had to go. I even lifted her up to carry her back to her hotel, and she told me to put her down. I left her there. I sat down next to her, talked to her a while, and I called Deepak to ask him if he could come pick me up, which Deepak didn't do. But
was she angry?
She wasn't angry. If it's anything, she was probably more, I don't know, upset that I was leaving her there, and I don't know what reaction she had. I don't know.
How did you feel when you left her?
Well, at the time, I didn't feel it was a bad idea. At the time, I really didn't. It didn't seem wrong. It didn't seem. Of course, now I look back at it and I think I'm an ass. What did I do? But there's nothing I can do about it now. If I'd have that moment back, I would have made sure she got back to her hotel safely. But I can't change that now.
Did you have sex with her that night?
First of all, that's none of your business.
It's just a question.
Yes, but it's absolutely none of your business.
Well, did anything else happen that night?
No. Well, yes, I kissed with her, but neither me, Deepak, or Satish ever had sex with her, and no one ever said otherwise.
And that's the last thing that happened?
Yes, that's the last thing.
And what was the last thing that she said to you?
She didn't say any last thing to me. The last thing I said to her was bye.
You just said bye?
Yeah.
Where's the body?
I don't know what happened. I don't know where she is.
And where do you think she is?
I told you I'm not going to speculate because that's all other people have been doing is speculating. And there's been so much that people have talked on TV. People have come forward and said things that make no sense and things that's just sad what some people do.
But I mean, you're from the island. You know how things work there. You're not like some guy that's a tourist that doesn't know what's going on.
That's why. In the beginning, I thought she probably ran away with someone on the island. She ran away with a beach bum. I don't know, someone on the island that she might have met before. That was my first reaction.
I mean, I've heard things like an international hit squad, for instance.
I don't know. That's probably all speculations too. I heard stories that she was in Venezuela, sold into slave slavery or sex slavery. I don't know. People are just trying to make up stories to find out what happened, and it's all sad.
But you're the last guy that was with her, and I mean, there's.
No, I was the last guy that admitted to be with her, but okay.
Okay. What is the worst thing you think you've done since
the worst thing I did was leaving her there at the beach. That was the worst thing, possible thing I could have done, and then lie about it to try and make myself not look bad, I guess.
The lies began the day after Natalee disappeared, when Joran was brought in for questioning by police. His lie? That he and the Kalpoe brothers had dropped Natalee off safely at the Holiday Inn. That lie caused 2 casino security guards to be falsely arrested.
And why did you do that?
Well, I didn't really think something bad happened to her, and I don't think anyone in Aruba did, because it's the truth. Tourists come to Aruba, they come to have a good time, and sometimes they don't show up a night or two, and then they come back to their hotel. I thought that was the case. The local police at that probably also thought that was the case, and I just always hoped she would just show up. And that's, yeah.
And what went through your mind when, she didn't show up?
Well, when she didn't show up for the first couple of days, I was like, okay, but, maybe she's still with someone else. Then after a while, there were 7 days between when we gave our first witness statement and we were arrested. And I was just thinking, I thought about going to the police and telling the truth, but I really couldn't, because I lied to everyone. I lied to my parents, I lied to my friends, and...
So you say that lying is your worst crime?
Yeah.
But why did you lie that first time?
Well, I lied basically because I was scared. And yeah, that's the truth.
Right. You lied because you were scared?
Yes, because I didn't want to admit to leaving her alone at the beach. I know what I did is wrong, and for lying, I probably deserved to be in that jail for 3 months. But I didn't do anything against the law, and they have to let you go. They have to let me get on with my life, and I hope you guys let me get on with my life too.
Are you still a suspect?
Yes, I'm still a suspect.
How does it feel to be a suspect?
It doesn't feel good, of course, and I hope that when the 30 days pass, I'm not a suspect anymore.
Since the strongest lead investigators had to go on was that Joran and the Kalpoe brothers were the last known people to see Natalee before she went missing, these suspects needed to be questioned closely.
What were the interrogations like?
The interrogations, of course, were horrible because they put stuff in your head. I think if you have a weak person in an interrogation room, even if they're innocent, they'll admit to doing a crime just to be let alone, just for them to leave them alone, to get something to eat, to get something to drink. The Aruban interrogators might have been even a little kinder than the Dutch interrogators, because they really try and make you look guilty, even if you're not guilty or not.
And how long did this go on for?
Well, in the beginning, the interrogations could have gone from 8 in the morning till 11 at night, but at the end, they slowly became less and less because they didn't have more things to ask, and I don't see there's anything else to ask here. I haven't been interrogated here yet in Holland. No one's come to interrogate me, and I know it's because there's nothing else to ask. Every question I've answered. There's not one evidence in this case that shows something bad happened. And I've never touched a girl in an aggressive way in my life. There's not one girl that went forward and said otherwise, and I only have good declarations in my name. So
those interrogations happened because under Dutch law, a suspect can be held in jail without being formally charged, merely on suspicion.
The 3 months I was in there was hard. It wasn't fun at all, of course, but I tried to make the best of it. I always kept my head up, and I knew that I was innocent, so I knew that they would have to let me go.
Some people say that you're admitting that you're lying, but some people are saying that you're doing quite a lot more than that. You've done worse things than that.
And that would be, I would love for someone to come and tell me if there's anything worse I did, because I've never touched a girl in an aggressive way in my life, never, and there's no one that can come forward and say otherwise. And yeah, I just feel bad because everything that happened. I feel bad for Natalee's family, I feel bad for my family, I feel bad for Deepak and Satish's family, and I feel bad for everyone that suffered because of all this.
Wow, thanks, Jerry. Great interview.